Alex, 28 years old, has been working at a renowned financial company in downtown New York City for the past 5 years. He has a life many would envy, a good salary, friendly colleagues, and plenty of opportunities for advancement. But for Alex, everything has become increasingly monotonous. Every morning, he wakes up, puts on a sharp suit, boards a packed train to the office, and spends his day glued to lifeless spreadsheets. In the evening, he comes home exhausted, wondering if this is the future he once envisioned when he was younger. Lex had always dreamed of doing something meaningful, something that would make a difference. But the busyness of life, work pressures, and the fear of failure kept him from stepping out of his comfort zone. One day, after an hours-long meeting about quarterly budgets, Alex decided he needed to escape this pace of life, even if just temporarily. He booked a flight to a remote mountainous area a friend had once recommended, a peaceful place, free from skyscrapers and the blaring sound of car horns. The small village where Alex arrived was nestled deep in a valley, surrounded by lush green hills. The air was so fresh that he felt like he could breathe deeper than ever before. Here, he came across hardworking farmers tending to the terrace fields, children playing under the sunlight, and a slow-paced way of life that stood in stark contrast to the hustle and bustle of the city. One day, while strolling through the village, Alex noticed an old man sitting in front of a traditional coffee roasting stove. The aroma of the coffee beans being roasted piqued his curiosity. Alex approached, and the old man greeted him with a warm smile. They started chatting, and the old man shared the story of his family's tradition of cultivating and processing specialty coffee, a rare variety found only in this mountainous region. The old man offered Alex a freshly brewed cup of coffee. Just one sip was enough to captivate Alex, as he was enchanted by its unique flavor. It wasn't just coffee. It was a story, a taste infused with the essence of the land and the people who called it home. Alex asked why this type of coffee wasn't sold in other places. The old man sighed and explained that, despite having a high-quality product, they lacked the means or knowledge to reach a larger market. "We're just small farmers," the old man said. That answer kept Alex thinking. Returning home after the trip, Alex couldn't forget the taste of that cup of coffee and the old man's story. He began to wonder, what could he do to help those farmers bring their products to the world? An idea started to take shape in his mind, a specialty coffee brand that not only sells products, but also tells the story of the origins and the people behind each coffee bean. However, the journey of starting a business is never easy. Alex had never run a business before, and this idea required him to leave a stable job, a decision that his friends and family all considered crazy. But Alex knew that if he didn't try, he would forever live with regret. For 6 months, Alex delved into the coffee industry, exploring everything from production and distribution to brand building. He attended workshops, learned from other entrepreneurs, and spent his free time crafting a business plan. He named his project Heritage Beans, with the message, "Every coffee bean is a piece of heritage that deserves to be celebrated." When Alex returned to the city, he couldn't stop thinking about that cup of coffee and the old man's story. He began to wonder, what if I could help these farmers bring their coffee to the world? The idea gradually evolved into a vision, a specialty coffee brand that wouldn't just sell coffee, but would also tell the stories of its origins and the people behind each bean. However, starting a business was no small feat. Alex had no prior experience in entrepreneurship, and pursuing this idea would mean giving up his stable job, a decision that his friends and family warned against. But deep down, Alex knew that if he didn't try, he would always regret it. For 6 months, Alex immersed himself in learning everything about the coffee industry, from production and distribution to branding and marketing. He attended workshops, networked with industry experts, and meticulously crafted a business plan. He named his project Heritage Beans, reflecting his desire to honor the cultural legacy behind every coffee bean. Finally, Alex took the leap and resigned from his job. It was a bold, risky move, but he knew it was necessary. The early days were far from easy. Convincing the villagers to trust him was a challenge. They were skeptical about whether a city man like Alex truly understood or valued their work. But through persistence and genuine effort, Alex gradually earned their trust. The first few months were grueling. Alex did everything himself, building a website, packaging the coffee, and responding to customer inquiries. Some nights he worked until dawn, questioning if he had made the right choice. But every time he thought of the old man's hopeful eyes and the unique taste of that first cup of coffee, he found the strength to keep going. One day, a well-known coffee blogger stumbled upon Alex's story and wrote an article about heritage beans. The story quickly went viral, and orders started pouring in from all over the country. Customers were drawn not just to the high-quality coffee, but also to the compelling narrative behind it, a story of tradition, resilience, and connection. 2 years later, heritage beans had become a beloved brand in the specialty coffee market. Alex returned to the village that had inspired it all. This time, he saw the tangible impact of his work: new homes, a school for the children, and the proud, smiling face of the old man who had first shared his coffee and story. Standing on a hillside surrounded by coffee plants in full bloom, Alex smiled. He had dared to step out of his comfort zone, face countless challenges, and in doing so, found a deeper purpose for his life. His journey had not only transformed his own path, but also uplifted an entire community. Sometimes, stepping out of your comfort zone is the only way to discover your true potential. Small ideas, when nurtured with passion and perseverance, can lead to extraordinary outcomes. True success lies not just in personal achievement, but in creating value for others. The story of Marcus, from night delivery to coastal bakery owner. Marcus, 27 years old, worked as a delivery driver for a courier company in Los Angeles. His job demanded patience and endurance. Every day, Marcus drove his old truck through the city's congested streets, delivering packages from early morning until late at night. He didn't really have weekends off, and his modest salary barely covered rent and basic living expenses. But Marcus had a secret no one knew: he loved baking. On days with fewer deliveries, Marcus would often stop by a small bakery near his route to admire the tarts displayed behind the glass counter. The bakery's owner, an elderly woman named Maria, would occasionally invite him in to sample a treat during slow hours. She shared stories about how she taught herself to bake back in her youth while living in Italy. Maria's stories planted a dream in Marcus's heart. One day, he would own a bakery of his own. But how could Marcus start when he had no money, no time, and no formal training in baking? The answer came unexpectedly. One evening, after finishing his deliveries, Marcus decided to try making a lemon tart using a recipe Maria had shared with him. With simple ingredients from a local grocery store, he spent hours in his tiny kitchen, carefully following the steps. The result surprised him. The tart wasn't just delicious. It sparked a sense of pride and possibility he hadn't felt in years. Slowly, Marcus began baking at night after work, sharing his creations with colleagues. His tarts received rave reviews, and one of his friends suggested, "Why don't you try selling them online?" With his friend's help, Marcus created a small Instagram page and named it Tart Tailies. He posted photos of his tarts alongside short stories about his journey. To his surprise, within weeks, his posts gained hundreds of likes, and his first order came from a complete stranger. Marcus decided to reduce his hours at the courier company to focus more on baking. Initially, the challenges were overwhelming: spoiled ingredients, late deliveries, and sleepless nights preparing orders. Yet, instead of giving up, Marcus kept improving. He watched YouTube tutorials, enrolled in online baking classes, and experimented with new recipes. One day, a big opportunity came his way. A well-known food blogger ordered from him and posted a glowing review on their social media. The post went viral, and within a week, Marcus received hundreds of orders. With the income from these sales, he upgraded his equipment and rented a shared kitchen space to expand production. A year after starting, Tart Tailies became a local favorite. Marcus took a bold step and rented a small storefront near the Santa Monica beach to open his first bakery. It wasn't just a place to sell tarts. He also hosted workshops to teach kids and adults how to bake, sharing his story as a source of inspiration. Marcus's bakery quickly became more than a business, it was a community hub. Customers loved not only the delicious tarts, but also the heartfelt stories behind them. People came to the shop not just for desserts, but for her connection to Marcus's journey from a struggling delivery driver to a thriving bakery owner. By the time Marcus turned 30, his small bakery had become a beloved destination in Santa Monica, featured in local magazines and TV shows. But for Marcus, success wasn't about awards or revenue, it was about proving that circumstances and starting points don't define what you can achieve. One day, Maria, the bakery owner who first inspired him, visited Marcus's shop. She smiled warmly and said, "I always knew you'd make it." Marcus handed her a lemon tart, just like the first one he ever baked, and realized that sometimes life changes from the smallest moments: a piece of advice, a dream, and the courage to take the first step. Passion often stems from the simplest things, as long as you dare to act on it. Success doesn't come from perfection, but from small, consistent efforts every day. No dream is too big, only fear limits you. Lily, from office worker to community project founder. Lily, 29, lived in Chicago and worked as a marketing professional. Her job was decent, but like many others her age, Lily felt like her life was slipping by without real purpose. Days spent staring at screens, racing through ad campaigns, and chasing revenue targets left her feeling empty. Every evening, as she stepped out of her office building, she would see homeless people huddled on street corners, shivering in the cold, and wonder, what can I do to help? One bitterly cold winter evening, on her way home, Lily noticed an elderly homeless woman trembling on the sidewalk, wrapped in a tattered blanket. The image stayed with her long after she returned home. That night, Lily decided to take action, no matter how small. She found an old coat and a few warm items in her closet, wrapped them up, and brought them to the woman the next morning. That small act of kindness warmed Lily's heart, but it also sparked a thought: if I can help one person, why not more? Lily began researching ways to assist the homeless in her city. She realized that people needed more than just warm clothing. They needed hygiene supplies, food, and above all, care and compassion from their community. Using her marketing skills, Lily decided to start a small community project. She launched a campaign called Warm Hearts, focusing on collecting essential supplies from people who wanted to donate. Lily created a social media page to share stories of the homeless individuals she met, aiming to help others understand their struggles. The story of the elderly woman she first helped went viral, and within weeks, Lily received hundreds of donated items from across the city. As the project grew, it quickly exceeded Lily's capacity. She struggled to balance her full-time office job with the demands of organizing donation drives. Late nights sorting through supplies and planning events left her exhausted. There were moments she questioned whether she could keep going. But every time she saw the smiles of the people she helped, she knew her efforts were worth it. 6 months in, Lily made a bold decision. She quit her job. She realized that for Warm Hearts to grow and truly make an impact, it needed her full commitment. Her family was worried about her financial stability, but Lily was convinced this was her calling. Lily began partnering with local businesses and larger charities. She organized fundraisers where people could contribute or volunteer. During one large fundraiser, a journalist from a local newspaper covered her project. The article quickly gained attention, and Lily received a significant grant from a nonprofit organization. With the funding, Lily opened a small support center where homeless individuals could receive essential supplies, meals, and even basic skills training to help them reintegrate into society. The center became more than a place of immediate relief. It became a beacon of hope for those who needed it most. 3 years after she started, Warm Hearts had become a well-known nonprofit in the Chicago area. Lily's support center had helped thousands of homeless individuals by providing temporary shelter, assistance with finding jobs, and more. She also began partnering with schools, hosting workshops to teach students about empathy and the importance of helping others. At the 3rd anniversary celebration for the project, the elderly woman Lily had first helped came to visit her. She was no longer living on the streets. With Warm Hearts support, she had found stable housing and even volunteered at Lily's center. Holding Lily's hand, she smiled and said, "You saved my life, and now I want to help others the way you helped me." Standing on the stage at the event, Looking out at the audience, volunteers, supportive business owners, and formerly homeless individuals who had rebuilt their lives, Lily felt an overwhelming sense of fulfillment. Everything had started with one small action, one simple idea, and with determination and a kind heart, it had grown into something extraordinary. A small act of kindness can create a big impact if you're willing to start. The meaning of life isn't in what you have, but in what you give. Success isn't always about personal gain. It's about bringing hope and value to others. Jack, from warehouse worker to corporate chairman. Jack, 26, worked in the warehouse of a major retail company in Atlanta. His job involved packing and shipping orders, simple manual labor that came with a lot of pressure. He started working there right after graduating high school, unable to afford college. After 8 years of dedication, Jack remained a regular warehouse worker, while many of his colleagues had moved on to better opportunities in an MCC hunt. Jack wasn't without dreams. He longed for a better life and wished to make something of himself, but that seemed far out of reach. His life revolved around long shifts, rent payments, and bills. However, Jack had one unusual habit. He loved observing how the warehouse system worked. He constantly wondered why some processes were slow and why certain shipments often went missing. He noted these problems in a small notebook, along with ideas on how to fix them. One day, the company's CEO, Richard Sullivan, visited the warehouse as part of a routine inspection. During a meeting with employees, he asked, "Does anyone have ideas on how we can improve operations?" Most of the staff stayed silent, but Jack saw this as his chance. He stepped forward and presented the observations and ideas he had been jotting down for years. At first, Richard listened out of courtesy, but Jack's detailed analysis and practical solutions caught his attention. Jack didn't just point out issues. He offered actionable ideas, such as reorganizing inventory in the warehouse and implementing barcode scanning technology to reduce errors. Impressed, Richard invited Jack to pilot a small project based on his suggestions. Jack's pilot project quickly delivered outstanding results. Efficiency improved by 20%, order processing times dropped significantly, and error rates nearly disappeared. This success earned Jack a promotion to warehouse manager, a position he had never imagined reaching. But Jack didn't stop there. He continued refining processes, experimenting with new technologies, and even proposing a real-time inventory tracking system. His initiatives not only boosted efficiency at his warehouse, but also gained traction across the company's other facilities. Thanks to his exceptional contributions, Jack was invited to join the corporate management team at the company's headquarters. This was a life-changing moment for him. With the company's support, Jack decided to return to school and earn a degree in business administration. Balancing his studies and work was challenging, but Jack never gave up. Within 5 years, Jack became the chief operating officer, overseeing the company's entire supply chain. He spearheaded groundbreaking innovations, from automating shipping processes to creating eco-friendly warehouses. His efforts saved the company millions of dollars annually and strengthened its reputation in the market. By the time Jack turned 40, he was appointed chairman of the board, a remarkable journey from his early days as a warehouse worker. During his inaugural speech as chairman, Jack reflected on his first day in the warehouse, thinking he would always remain a small cog in a giant machine. Today, under Jack's leadership, the company thrives not only financially, but also culturally. He implemented an internal program called Dreamers Initiative, where employees at all levels are encouraged to pitch ideas and receive support to bring them to life. Jack wants his story to inspire others to realize that no dream is too big. At a press conference, when asked about the key to his success, Jack replied, "I'm not the smartest or most talented person. I'm just someone who never stopped trying to improve, no matter where I started." Success is not determined by where you start, but by your dedication and perseverance. Every idea, no matter how small, can change the game if you take action. A true leader never forgets where they came from. Emma, from receptionist to CEO of a tech company. Emma, 24, worked at the front desk of a tech company in San Francisco. Her daily tasks included answering phones, greeting clients, and scheduling appointments for senior management. With a basic salary, the job wasn't particularly challenging and often went unnoticed, but Emma saw it differently. Every day, she didn't just do her job well, but also took time to observe how other departments within the company operated. Emma had been passionate about technology since high school. However, due to her family's financial struggles, she couldn't pursue a degree in engineering. Instead, she took to self-learning programming through online courses in the evenings. She quietly built her skills without telling anyone, knowing that if the opportunity came, she wanted to be ready. One day, the company's CEO, Jonathan, faced an issue with internal data management software. As Emma was delivering documents to his office, he happened to mention the problem. Instead of staying quiet as she usually would, Emma boldly said, "I think I can help." Jonathan, initially surprised, agreed to let Emma give it a try. She spent the entire night researching the issue and came up with a simple but effective solution that fixed the software bug. The next morning, when Emma presented her solution, Jonathan was not only surprised but extremely impressed. Thanks to Emma's help, the company saved thousands of dollars in repair fees. This caught the attention of the management, and Emma was given more technology-related tasks. Not only did she complete these tasks with ease, but she also continuously proposed improvements, from automating processes to enhancing the user interface of internal applications. Seeing Emma's potential, Jonathan decided to sponsor her to take additional courses in programming and business management. Over the next 2 years, Emma not only continued working, but also earned certifications in software development and project management. Emma was promoted to head of the technical team and later became the Chief Technology Officer (CTO). With her innovative thinking and deep understanding of both technology and customers, she led the development of breakthrough products, helping the company expand its market and achieve remarkable growth. Thanks to her constant contributions, Emma became the top candidate for the position of CEO when Jonathan decided to retire. Under her leadership, the company transformed into one of the leading tech firms in the artificial intelligence AI sector. By the time Emma was 35, her company had reached $1 billion valuation. But what made her most proud wasn't the numbers, it was the company culture she had built. Emma always emphasized that anyone, no matter their position, has the potential to contribute and grow. She launched an internal program called Hidden Gems, which helped employees at all levels discover and develop their talents. In an interview, when asked about her journey, Emma shared, "I used to be a receptionist, but that didn't define who I was. I always believed that if you keep learning and seize opportunities, there are no limits to what you can achieve in this world. No position is too low to start. It's all about how you make the most of the opportunities. Success comes not just from talent, but from perseverance and the courage to take action. True leadership is about creating opportunities for others, just as someone once created an opportunity for you." David, from waiter to real estate tycoon. David, 25, was a waiter at a small restaurant in Dallas, Texas. Every day, he spent over 10 hours on his tired feet, serving customers, cleaning tables, and earning meager tips. Despite the hardships, David never complained. He always wore a friendly smile and worked diligently because he knew his current job was just the starting point of his journey. David grew up in a struggling family. His parents worked tirelessly to pay rent, and he understood the value of every dollar earned. But David dreamed bigger. He wanted to one day own the buildings people rented, instead of relying on the goodwill of landlords. One quiet evening at the restaurant, David overheard a conversation between two customers seated near the kitchen. They were real estate investors discussing plans to buy an old building, renovate it, and rent it out. David was intrigued. While serving dessert, he mustered the courage to ask them questions about their business. To his surprise, they were happy to share their insights on real estate investing. That night, David went home and dove deep into research about the real estate industry. He discovered that he didn't need a lot of money to get started, as long as he could spot opportunities in small properties and find ways to secure funding. Determined to learn more, David decided to take his first steps into the world of real estate. Every night after work, David spent hours reading books, watching videos and attending free online workshops on real estate. He didn't have savings, but he had time and determination. After a few months of learning, David devised a plan. He would start small by purchasing an old, rundown house, fixing it up, and selling it for a profit. With his modest savings and a loan from a first-time homebuyer program, David managed to purchase a small, neglected house in the city suburbs. He took on most of the repairs himself, relying on YouTube tutorials and guidance from friends in construction. After 3 months of relentless effort, David sold the renovated house for 30% more than his initial investment. After his first successful deal, David realized his potential in the real estate market. He continued searching for small properties to buy and renovate while building relationships with brokers and investors. Within 3 years, David had built a portfolio of 10 rental properties that provided him with a steady monthly income. But David wasn't content to stop there. He began focusing on larger projects, such as acquiring old commercial buildings and transforming them into modern office spaces. He mastered the art of pitching to investors and used his growing network and credibility to secure funding.